All right, guys, welcome in. We are going to be doing some one-to-one epoxy resin today called Perfect Pour. This is our Hobby Lobby formula. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make a beach tray and coaster set, and we're going to be using UV resin and epoxy resin. We're also using real sand, real shells, and I'm going to show you how to create that multi-dimensional wave look with some cells on top and just a really good summery tray, because summer is going to be here before you know it.
Let's hope so.
I hope so. I really do.
All of us are hoping so.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've got my sand here, I've got my tray here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal my tray, and I'm going to do that with UV resin. And the reason I do that is because a lot of times when you guys are working with these trays, depending on how they're constructed, there may be like a little bit of a gap right here where it's not fully sealed. And so we want to make sure that we are going to seal the corners, seal all the way around. That way there's no way we're going to have any leaks when I start pouring the epoxy. The epoxy is very, very runny. So I want to make sure that I'm doing right by sealing all this. So right here, I'm just going to put a little bit of UV resin, and I'm just going to seal this crack on the side. This tray has just a little tiny crack from being screwed, having those handles screwed in. So I'm just going to run my finger across it and just get it inside that crack. And then I'm going to use my pocket lamp, and I'm just going to cure that really quick.
I mean, that's the quickest wood repair I've seen in a long time.
Right? Super fast.
Put it in a bag in your little fanny pack, and you got yourself a little tool kit. Handy dandy fixer.
Done and done. This pocket lamp cures super fast, you guys. This thing will cure it in less than 10 seconds. It does have a timer in case you do have a deeper pour or a bigger mold that you're working with. But all in all, it's very quick. It's already cured. Already cured. So now we're going along the edges here, almost like caulk. If you guys are using caulk, same concept. We're just going to go along the edge and up in the corners.
A little better.
See, it is good that I'm doing this, you guys, because I can see bubbles coming out from under that crack, like where the seam is, which tells me if I would have just done a straight pour, then it would have leaked right out the bottom, and that's just devastating. Not only that, but even let's say the outside is completely cured or sealed up, and then the inside is where the air pockets are, that's gonna leave air in your piece. So it's always good to seal your tray, all the seams of your tray, before you do the pour.
Pro tip.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. Perfect.
Okay, so we've sealed all the way around the perimeter here. So now what I would typically do, since I'm doing this in a live, I want to speed the process up a little bit. But typically what I would do is I would do one layer, and I would do sand here in that layer. But because of time and I want to get this all done at once, we're going to do UV resin with the sand. This is actually not a mold. It's a tray that you can purchase pre-painted. It's from Summit Living.
Yep, I just wrote it down. Summit Living.
I like this because it already has the handles in it. It's already painted, so you don't have to refinish it or do anything like that. It just is a quick, easy live. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some UV resin to this sand, and I'm going to add some champagne night because I do want a little bit of glitter. I like a little shimmery, you know, when the sun hits that sand.
Ooh.
It's a beautiful thing.
Woo.
Champagne room also is very good.
I do like that one too.
But you can see it's just enough shimmer, not too much. All right, so now we're going to add UV resin to this. We're using the original formula for this. We're going to mix this in. You're going to mix it a little at a time, and then you'll add more resin to it. So we're going to spread this on. We're going to do it in a very thin layer because, again, this is UV resin. So we just want it to be very thin so that the light can still go through and cure it all. This is literally going to be the perfect amount. So I'm going to, this levels out very nice. I'm just going to make sure that it is not too thick. All right, so now we have our sand. We're going to go ahead and cure that. We are using the Magic Cure for this, and we're going to do 60 seconds to start at the 36 watts. And if we're saving time, we might as well double down. Right, Tori?
Might as well.
All right. Almost done. We'll make sure it's good and cure before we start mixing our epoxy.
Love it.
All right, so we are going to start mixing our epoxy using the Perfect Pour. This is the formula that is in Hobby Lobby currently.
Ooh, sunny and, hold on, it's going too fast. Sunny and 70 in North Carolina. That's nice.
Ooh.
I'm ready for that. Ooh, we're supposed to have 70s through Saturday?
What?
I didn't know that. That's great.
We are?
That's from Decal.
Really?
Rockport, Texas. Sunny mid-70s. Southwest Iowa. 60 and sunny. Wow. A little bit of storms on Saturday. Decal said. Oh my gosh. And Amy, Dysfunctional Designs, she's in Ohio as well. 71.
Holy moly.
All the things.
All of it.
So you are mixing up Perfect Pour, correct?
Yes.
Let's get that tagged, shall we?
Shall we? Yes.
Kind of a touristy area. I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and during the tourist season, it was not.
Okay, so all these bubbles are going to rise to the top and pop, which is the best part about this formula. You don't need a pressure pot. You don't need any special equipment. It does the work for you. So we're going to let this rest for a minute here.
That's great. So cute. Thanks, everybody. Only the baby's eyes glow. Brandy said I'm going to have nightmares. Attack of the babies.
They're pretty awesome. All right, so we are separating out our epoxy. This will keep it cooler, give you a little bit longer working time, but we're also going to be mixing in our pigments. So we are using the genre pigments today. These are good for epoxy and UV resin, which is always a plus. And you don't need much, guys.
You sure don't. Don't sleep on the genre pigments.
They're amazing.
They really are.
These come out so slow, which I prefer because otherwise you over measure.
the pigments,
Yeah.
I am notoriously heavy-handed.
Yeah.
So that is a benefit for me.
It is.
Heck yeah. That baby tray.
It's great.
Somebody asked something.
This looks like straight up Turks and Caicos water right here.
Brandy would like to know about how many drops do you feel like you're doing each time?
About 7.
About 7. Okay. And a good question from Sweet and Elegant. What is the best epoxy for tumblers?
That would be the perfect finish formula. That's our artisan resin. That one is a 24-hour cure. It is formulated for tumblers and fine art because of its UV protection. It's very thick, so it's very easy to work with, and a little bit goes a long way.
I'm going to tag that for you in just a sec. Figure. That is beautiful. So pretty color.
It is so pretty. So the genre pigments have all of the beach colors, guys, which is awesome. We are going to use thick wood for the white because we want it to be very pigmented. Okay, this is a really nice milky color. We're gonna add a little bit more. We want it to be very opaque. You can see all those bubbles rising to the top.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to let this rest to thicken up a little bit. So I'm going to set that to the side.
All the beach stuff is so popular.
It really is.
I think people are just very, very welcoming and open to saving their beach things to remember that vacation
Heck yeah.
across the country.
Because when you think about relaxing, you know, like if you have a tub in there, like you think about relaxing, that's what you think of is where's your happy place? Most of the time, people like the beach.
Yep.
There's just something about the ocean, the calmness, the sound. Look at these bubbles popping, you guys.
Oh, that's right. Great Wolf Lodge. Forgot about that. I
See
do
them
love
popping?
watching those bubbles popping, yeah. That's so fun. No pressure pots needed here.
Nope. Oh, this looks... I want to go back to Turks now. This ocean water, it's so pretty. All right, here is the sand. Now I'm just waiting for the resin to thicken up enough.
Got it.
So all the bubbles are gone except for a teeny tiny bit.
Looks like water. GK, that is a great question. What is the difference between pigment ink and alcohol ink?
So alcohol ink can dilute your resin. So it's when you're using that on something like this, I like to use an actual pigment almost like a pigment paste. It's better for the resin. It mixes better. You're able to control the color a little bit more. It also doesn't stain your molds. That's one thing I don't like about alcohol ink, is it stains your molds, and you can't get it out. You just can't. No matter what you do, you cannot get it out. All right, so I'm going to layer up my epoxy in order of pour. And I'm just going to keep checking the thickness. And when it starts to get a little thicker, I'm going to pour it. It's close.
But the working time, depending on temperature, is about an hour on this one, correct?
Yes.
That's a really great amount of time.
It's just enough time, I think.
Yep. Allison says, where does mica fall in between alcohol ink and pigment?
So mica powder it gives you a completely different look. So if you're wanting that crystal clear, beautiful, like more realistic ocean, you don't want to use mica. Because mica, you can see textured lines, you can see a lot of movement. It just doesn't look as realistic. It also can speed up the cure of your resin, so it's going to reduce your working time by a little bit as well. So I usually don't use them in trays, but it is a cool effect, especially if you're filling in like a wooden table or something like that. It is neat. It's just not my favorite on a beach tray.
It's a great time.
All right, so we're going to start with our clear. So this is our clear. Move this up a little bit so you guys can see.
Looks like water.
Looks like water.
Oh, just a good bit. I'm glad that helps. We'd love to see you at the class. It's a good time.
It is a good time.
Ooh, look at that color. Pretty.
That is Turks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've not been.
Oh, it's so pretty. So the reason I do this color combination is because when you're looking out in the ocean, it goes from very light colored water, to the darker water. So this creates that look for you.
Ooh, this is a good question from GK. If I'm using epoxy parts A and B, can I add some UV resin if I want that glow?
So you'd have to make sure it's completely cured before you add any UV resin.
Like if you wanted to use UV resin to top coat your cured epoxy,
Yes.
that would totally work.
You can definitely do that.
Definitely not something that you would want to mix together.
Right. You can see how clear this is, you guys.
Hi, Paddles and Stems. We are making a beach tray today with our Perfect Pour 1-in-1 epoxy.
All right, now we're gonna add some heat.
Ooh, this is the fun part.
Yes.
That was sweet nugget.
So when you're using alcohol, this is a good tip. If you want more cells, it will make more cells for you, which is if you want that foamy look, which I always do. But I'm going to show you guys a close up here so you can see.
Ooh, now you can see the glitter in the sand too and really get that full effect.
So I'm going to let this rest for a little bit, let it start to thicken up, and then we'll kind of take a peek at it, see if we want to do anything else to it. The more thick it gets, the easier it is to manipulate the resin. So when you're working with a thicker resin like this, or a thinner resin like this, you just have to be patient and kind of let it start to set, and then it's pretty easy once you do that. So I'm going to add a little more cells right here with my alcohol. Alright, so it's almost ready for my shells. Looks pretty good.
Ooh, yeah, what are you going to do with your shells?
So I'm just going to put a few little guys in there. See if I have any other little ones in here.
So pretty. BEK Custom Press has a good question.
Yeah.
How does your epoxy handle cooler temps? For us cold climate friends, any curing issue?
No curing issue. That's the best part. We are also in cooler temps. So we designed it so that it could be very versatile, very forgiving when you're working in a cooler temperature. So this will get a top coat. I will be putting a top coat of Perfect Finish on this. That way it's completely UV protected as well, and I want to make sure that these shells are also going to be completely coated.
Incredible.
Yeah, and if you guys want more of a solid line at the base, you just have to let it rest longer. So on a live, I can't do that because I can't stand here and let it go. But if you let it rest for about 15 minutes and you pour your water line right here and it's nice and thick, when you blow it out, it's going to keep that nice border right there. With a thinner resin like this, it tends to want to come forward into the clear. So you just have to let it rest longer, get a little bit thicker, and then you're going to be good to go. But yeah, that's it. That is it.
Love it.
So it was fun hanging out with you guys, and we will be back on here soon. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks, you guys.
Bye, everyone.